So tonight on Parts Talk, we have Mr. Richard Asphall. Richard has been in the industry for more than 20 plus years. I'm not going to deliberate what his experiences was. I keep it all a surprise to our loyal guests and our audiences. So, as usual, I try to bring individuals who are intimately involved in relationship, working in a dealership setting, or individuals like Richard No, who has been affiliated with doing business alongside a dealership. So, Richard, good night. Thank you for joining us.
Good
And
night, Chris.
how has it been so far? How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Trying to keep safe in the pandemic, um, as everybody should.
Of course, as you know, safety is a must, right? We have to keep ourselves and our families safe. So, do us the honors. Introduce yourself. Tell us all about yourself. You don't have to go right back to when you was a toddler. You know, it just the
No,
just the most essential parts, right? Give us a history of what we're talking about tonight. Tell us about Roadman. What Roadman was all about.
well, Roadman Limited was basically acting on behalf of the insurance companies. Um, they would send us parts listing and we would give them a quotation based on the parts that were available, whether locally or abroad.
Yes.
Um, So when they get back that response, they would actually give us the go ahead whether or not to buy the parts and we would deliver it to the garages.
Okay. And then they would have to do that for all makes and models. What were some of the cars that you deal with?
The Corollas, the Toyotas, the Hondas, basically all make vehicles.
All makes and models. So it
Mhm.
does it matter the year of the vehicle?
No, not really. We'll try and source the parts and get it to the client.
Okay. So the company acted as a intermediary on behalf of the insurance company or on behalf of the client. I just want to make it clear.
The insurance company.
On behalf of the insurance company. So what they do is investigate whenever there's an accident, they will match
And then
the prices
yeah,
of
before all of that, still, Chris, they would actually send an assessor
yeah,
to assess the vehicle, do a parts valuation on the vehicle, and then send it to us. We would then go out in the market to try and get the best prices for them
right,
and send them a quotation. They would say, okay, go ahead and supply them. We like the prices that you have and
right.
work with it.
Okay. Did it matter the type of parts? Was either genuine or aftermarket parts?
Well, it was a mixture of genuine, used, and aftermarket parts.
Okay, used parts
Um,
as well.
yeah, those
Okay.
parts was actually in it
Uh-huh.
because we actually got parts from Japan as well,
Uh-huh.
used from local dealers that actually supply used parts.
Okay. Okay. So Roadman had been around for how long? For the 20 years?
28 to 30 years. I actually left school and go straight into the parts
Straight.
business.
Okay.
So, yeah,
And you have never left it since.
no. We have actually collaborated with some of the dealers like Toyota Jamaica, KIG, where some of their programs we actually got a chance to learn them to see what they actually were doing as a dealer and
Right.
to see how best can work together.
Okay. When you say programs, you're talking about their parts software, their parts catalog.
Yes, EPC,
Okay,
parts
the
catalog,
EPC, the electronic parts catalog.
yes. So they would actually teach us say, to actually maneuver to help us better to find the parts that are necessary within the parameters of an accident.
Okay. So you worked directly with the assessors and the dealerships in order to collaborate and get the most value. But one would say
Yes.
one would say you were benefiting the insurance companies.
Well, basically, yes, because I don't think a lot of people understand
Uh-huh.
that the insurance company is there to put you back, to indemnify you, to
Right,
actually put you back in the position that you were.
right.
A lot of people would say, based on the year vehicle that you have,
Hmm.
you might have to get new and used parts.
Right.
So that was basically always have to be explaining to the clients.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Because it all depends on the year of the car you have, the make and the model.
Yes.
So you try to get it
And the
back
money.
as original
Yes,
condition at the time when the user was basically operating the
accident.
motor vehicle.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, okay, okay. But I want to tickle your brain some more because what I want to know is what were some of the challenges you faced when you're trying to go around to see to it that the customer get the parts that are needed in order to have their vehicles repaired to go back on the road, because as you know there are certain circumstances where that client, that customer wants their car, but at the same time now the insurance company has to do their due diligence. So I suspect that you would have to try to get things done in a timely manner. But what would describe to me now, what were some of the challenges you faced?
Well, Chris, I'm glad you asked that question. The challenges is if an item is not available locally
Right,
to us, we would have to special order it, whether it be from the US or from the dealer, which it would come from Japan.
right,
Say a Toyota Jamaica, it would first and foremost, this is Toyota Jamaica, and other companies are bringing in the parts quicker than you. What is it that you can do to get the part to us on a timely manner after ordering it? And they cut that time down to, I think it was 1 month, if you remember.
mm-hmm.
Now, I think you can get parts from Toyota Jamaica within 2 weeks.
Okay,
You understand me? So that was the challenge. Getting it from the US was, depending on where it was, it would take probably a week, couple days,
right.
or 2 weeks. But getting the part, advising the client where the part reach, and getting it here, clearing it, and delivering
Right.
it to their garage.
Okay, okay, okay. So when the parts come in, you would get those parts and you will take it directly to the approved garage
Yes,
to where the client is having his or her car to be repaired.
yes, definitely.
Okay, okay, okay. What other challenges you face otherwise from parts? Because parts has always been a challenge, so to speak, for for dealers and for customers alike. But they don't know that. What I try to inform a lot of clients when I was, intimately involved as a parts manager is that you can't have a million and one parts there sitting on a shelf. I mean, that's holding cost right there, right?
Yes,
Definitely, that's you would end up with dead stock. You would end up with things that you're not using, and if the parts is not turning over in a timely manner, then you're going to be operating at a loss.
definitely, definitely.
Right. So otherwise, so what I'm just trying to say, otherwise from the parts, what other challenges were there? Because everybody keep on saying parts, 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 parts.
Well, all right. The garages were the ones that were receiving them, and sometimes going to them was a challenge because they're saying, "Boy, oh, they won't take this or they won't take that."
Mm-hmm.
And we have to be explaining to them, say, "Hey, as much as we are here delivering the parts, is based on your client's need."
Yeah.
You understand me? And our involvement or communication with them was to get the client back on the road.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, I just deliver things to you and you take it. It's based on what was actually quoted on before, referred by the insurance company, what we try to deliver.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Please the client.
Right.
And the clients are not pleased based on the time, as we were discussing before. But,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we get the job done.
Does the client ever have direct interaction with you, or they have to go through the insurance company?
Sometimes they talk to us, but it was mainly the insurance company. We would
Okay.
have to
Okay.
advise them on what is going on, what time a part would deliver, or if there was any delay, we would have to relay that to them. So they would just respond that back to their clients.
Okay. 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 Well, yes, makes sense because that is the protocol, right? Because you're acting on behalf of the insurance company, so it
Yeah,
is their job to communicate
yeah.
the the necessary steps and actions being taken back to their clients. But we talk about the challenges parts, of course. But what were some of the strategies you used to to get around some of these obstacles? Because parts logistics, as I mentioned in a previous podcast some time ago, is that different regions operate under a different jurisdiction as it relates to logistics and part supply, right?
Well, saying that, Chris, I can say to you that me personally, I know that some of the parts that came from several different areas in Jamaica that
Mm-hmm.
we had to deliver parts came from Mobile, or we had to deliver parts from Kingston to Mobile. And I mean, that is on itself a different journey, a different environment dealing with other repairers,
Yeah.
assessor,
Right.
and to how they actually refer to the parts sometimes may be different from what you would say, just like the US, we call a fender and they would call it a wing or front
Yeah.
panel.
Yeah. We call it bonnet, they call it hood.
So there is a difference in
Yeah. Yeah.
everybody's
Yeah. Terminology and the
geographical
yeah.
location.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, okay. But like I said, no, the challenges. What were some of the strategies that you used to ensure that the insurance company is satisfied and the customer is satisfied? What what did you do to put a smile on their faces and to ensure that the check was coming in?
Well, we always made sure that each item that we delivered, these items were on a delivery slip
Hmm.
where they would have to sign receipt for, and in good satisfaction.
Right.
So for each garage would have to sign a delivery slip. In signing for that delivery slip, you sign whether or not it was of value they are also representing clients on their behalf.
Right.
Because if we deliver a part that was not suitable for them, would have to take it back and exchange it and take it back to them. So more often, as I said, the client would want new parts, but the based on the year model of the vehicle would have to actually deliver used parts on some of the items.
Hmm.
As front end is one of those that we try not to put used parts on. But body parts, used parts are available, we would supply them.
Okay, okay. You have to be careful what you're saying, okay? You can't put a use bonnet or a use fender, or well, I should say a use hood on my Prestige S63 Mercedes. You understand?
It all depends on the year.
It all depends on the year.
It
Okay,
all
okay.
depends on the
Well, I
year.
hope this don't get out too to too many people. But I get what you're saying. Um, but let me move on a little bit because I want to know more about your interaction, your company's interaction with dealerships. What were some of the recommendations now you would put to dealerships in term when they were going around sourcing these parts?
Well, for one, the sourcing of the parts, as I said earlier on, it was too laid back. The dealerships every so often you go to them, or these parts are not available. You would have to special order them. These are basically like some 5-year-old vehicles coming up 3-year-old, and they still don't have these parts in stock.
Right.
We'd have to special order them. Some
Hmm.
of the dealers right now is just straight special orders. They don't have any parts in stock.
Okay, okay.
And I mean, some even small items as bulb so
Bulb.
easily.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you definitely would reach out to them and say, hey, what is it that you basically can do to actually minimize that loss to our client or
Right.
our client in delivering parts to us in a timely manner.
Yeah.
So that conversation would be back and forth with them on a regular basis.
Hmm, hmm, hmm. But what did Roadman do to keep relevant? In terms of how did they maintain that longevity?
Turn over the parts in a timely manner. You have to find them.
But yeah, I mean, it must have come with a tremendous amount of stress to be, liaising with the insurance company. And I
Yes.
suspect that was it one insurance company or was it just a conglomerate?
No, it was several insurance companies.
Exactly, exactly. So I can understand several insurance companies, several claims going on from
Definitely.
time to time.
Yes.
And then you're dealing with different models, makes, brands right across.
You name it, even trucks
Even
sometimes.
trucks. Exactly, exactly. So what I'm
Yeah.
saying is that must have been something tremendous. It's like operating a small garage that you service all on Sunday.
And end up with parts that sometimes you have them so they have them so long that you can't even return them.
Really?
You
Okay,
have to
okay.
just wait and store them and stock them in your parts catalog or inventory until the need arise for it again. You
Hmm.
reuse it.
Okay, 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 okay. But let me move further. How should we prepare for a market that is constantly changing? What would have been your based on your experience? Can you give us any input?
Well, right now, basically, you have more people going to Japan, and they actually, for the used parts market, that is,
Yeah.
that they actually listening to people saying, hey, these are the people that are coming in now, and the dealers themselves can't bring it in
Hmm.
on a timely manner. So
Yeah.
these are the parts that they are trying to get
Hmm.
used that are there from a little while before they reach us. So like the Corollas, the Axios, some Subaru, some Hondas, some Suzuki parts, Isuzu parts that are hard to get.
Yeah.
You just call some of the used parts dealers and say, hey, when is it that the next shipment is coming? We might need some of these parts, and they just call their relevant people in Japan and say, hey, who might need these parts. They
Right.
pack it in the container and ship it to us,
Mhm.
or call us when it is actually here and we collect it and deliver
Right.
it to the garage.
Right. Right. So the use parts, it's a relatively large industry.
Very, very large.
So they're competing
Basically,
directly with the
we,
dealers.
yes, and basically right now, not only they are competing with the dealers, but they are actually shipping parts to other small islands
Oh,
in the
really? Okay.
Caribbean. Yes, so yeah, we they are actually marketing the used parts in such a way that um there's nothing that you need that you have to literally look for.
They might okay. So they will basically search all around the island to find out if they can get it. And if it's not available, then they can order it directly from Japan.
Yes, that's basically what's going on right now.
Right, right. So
Like,
they are in direct
everything
competition with
Japan
so they're in direct competition with the dealers. So it's not
with
only aftermarket parts, but also used parts are currently competing in the market.
yes, definitely. And
Well, that is
the
that is
dealers,
basically that is basically everywhere. So I mean, you can't get around that.
but the dealers definitely have to step up the game though. As I say, in the turnover time for the parts, they they need to cut down the time to try and alleviate that stress
Hmm.
and getting the client back on the road. It's hard for an accident, meaning, yeah, at the end of the day, you want to blame somebody, but it's not something that it's a big relevancy to the persons that are in the accident to go to the insurance company and have their vehicle parked for 2, 3, 4 months and not able to get parts for their vehicle.
Hmm.
They would have to put themselves at risk in taking taxi, bus, and other things like that. Worse in
Right.
the time of a pandemic now, everybody
Yeah.
wants a vehicle.
Hmm.
Sometimes the insurance company would step in and actually rent vehicles for their clients based on the time period that they are out of a vehicle.
Right. To
That's
be
it.
fair, to be fair to the dealers though, because as you know, my background is dealership management for some time now. Um, intimately involved in parts.
Mm-hmm.
It has a lot to do with geographical location, right? And if you're situated in a country like Jamaica and the nearest transshipment hub to them is Miami, and everything, as you know, has to go through Miami in order to venture off to Japan, where 90% of the vehicles in Jamaica are Japanese made. Hondas,
Yes.
Toyotas, Nissan, Suzuki is still there, right?
Yes.
Subarus, Toyotas, they dominate the market. But when they want efficient part supply, if they can't get it in Miami, then the next best place they look forward to is going directly to Japan to get those parts. And as you know, the sourcing and the logistics in Japan for the time for them to find it, put it on an aircraft or a boat and send it across, it's going to take weeks, right? So
Definitely.
that is essentially the skin in the game, or basically what they have to play with. That's just the nature of the beast. So
Yes.
it's not like they can't do any better, right? it's
That
be, it's based on a geographical location, which is always going to be a disadvantage to them. But
true.
explaining that to the regular man,
They
maybe
won't
after yeah maybe after you explain all the logistics and break it down, it has to go through this custom and it has to clear
understand.
through another custom and then come to Jamaica, and then they have to do more paperwork and get it done. And some try to bypass it and use a courier system, and then the courier system has to also use their own internal brokerage system in order to get it faster to you. So but at the same time, no, somebody has to pay for all of that,
True that. True.
right? So
True.
everything comes at a cost. So I'm just playing devil's advocate here, just to for the audience to understand exactly what is going on behind the scenes, right? So we
Yeah.
can't just
So
can't just beat up on the dealers, but I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, but to be fair, Chris, going to the dealers, you have an option. You have sea freight or air freight.
Yeah.
That's one of the benefits of going to the dealers. But sea freight is going to take a while. Air freight will come early, but at a
Mm-hmm.
cost.
Mm-hmm.
The clients sometimes will not take cost on themselves or don't want to. So we offer them sea freight. What I
Right.
had said earlier, that when you order something from the dealer would send for it in Japan. Japan would send it to that shipment leave out and go to Miami before it come to Jamaica.
Right.
The used parts dealers, when they order it from Japan, it comes straight from Japan to straight to Jamaica.
Straight to Jamaica. Okay.
Don't make that turn, that triangular turn to go to Miami to come to Jamaica. That is why they are on top of their game right now.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Something hopefully they can see for themselves and learn and to find out exactly how to get that done.
Well, yes, definitely.
Yeah. 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 But just to add a experience, personal experience I had, my car needed a map sensor. I'm here in Toronto. No one in Toronto has it. They have to order it from the manufacturer in Michigan, and it still took 2 weeks. So I mean,
Oh,
exactly, because they don't have something like that sitting down on a
oh,
shelf,
so
right?
basically it's a dealer fault.
Exactly, but I mean, they don't have something like that sitting down on a shelf because it's not a fast moving item. So
No, no.
it still has to go through the process to be requested, to be manufactured, packaged, shipped, comes across the border, and then all that. And it still took 2 weeks. So I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter where you are. It depends on the nature of the parts itself. Some can get it done faster than some, but it is what it is. But Richard, what has been going on now with Roadman? What is the latest update?
Well, it has been closed for a little while now, before
Mhm.
the pandemic.
Okay.
Mm, But people sometimes still make a personal favor asking for a part or
Right,
asking
right.
for help to locate an item.
Mhm.
Now that offer my help to them.
Right, right. Of course, because I mean, you've helped to build up that trust and that clientele over the years. So I suspect that persons will have you'd have actually built a friendship along that way and
Yes,
a circle and a network going forward.
for the over that 22 years, yes.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna keep you here any much longer. It has been an interesting chat to know exactly what Roadman did. I remember Roadman intimately, coming there, introducing myself and sitting down and with the staff, yourself, Mr. Cowans, um, and all the others. And we did perfectly well in terms of sourcing the parts and everything. So this was just to explain to a lot of the individuals on the outside exactly who the players are in the markets and the different roles they play in terms of collaborating with dealers or working within the dealerships, and the different angles, the different outputs, the different facets, the different individuals and their contributions to the auto industry on a whole. So Richard, is there any last thing you want to add before I let you go? 'Cause I know you're probably way past your beauty rest right now.
Well, to add something to that, where the used part dealers are concerned, um, most of these panels are the parts that they would supply are complete parts. Meaning, if you need a door, say a door, for a Corolla or any other vehicle, it would come from the dealer as a shell,
Okay, okay. Yeah,
where
it does. Yeah.
the dealer would sell you a complete door that they just take off a vehicle from Japan that they just scrap or cut up and bring to Jamaica for sale. So you get a complete door with glass. If it's a front door, you get the mirror, glass, the door cover, the regulator, everything that is on the door. So
Right.
basically, you take a door off a vehicle to put on a next vehicle.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So you don't have to go through all that, knowing that you want to buy a shell or to buy a glass and to break down the door. You just get a complete door.
Right, 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 right. So that would have but that benefited who? That benefited you or it benefited the customer on a whole?
The customer on a whole, because
And
they rather know that they get everything one time,
right.
get them piece.
Okay,
Even
okay.
garages as well, because to fit up glass on a door, or sometimes they don't really like that because
Mm-hmm.
they don't want to have that responsibility of damaging that glass or that part.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Makes sense. It makes sense. And that's basically what they have to be competing against because they well, yeah, the dealers they sell they you want a door shell, that's what you're gonna get. And then you're gonna if there's any damages that are done to the vehicle itself, then you have to buy the glass separate and the mirror separate and the handle and the regulator and all these things. Yeah. I remember quite well. I
Definitely.
remember quite well.
And instead of buying it from the dealer where you get each individual item at a cost, you just buy the door one cost.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
sometimes it would work out cheaper to buy the door and to buy the parts to make up the door.
Okay, okay, okay. All right. No, no problem. It has been very, very informative. Thank you again, Richard.
Yes, thanks
And
for having me.
I do hope that if you have more to add, in terms of the adventures that that you have to go through, like moving around and dealing with the respective garages, because we are yet to hear that story. I think it should have been some
Yes,
interest.
yes,
Some interesting take off. How we handle some of these some of these garages. Going to their various locations, and I suspect that they're located in and around the corporate area in Kingston, Jamaica. And
and
you
also,
mentioned all across, like from Kingston to Montego Bay, you know?
yes. Well, we definitely have to get a meeting going again.
Right.
I'm sure the viewers would love some of the stories that I have to say. But
Of course, of course, of course. Let me know, man, whenever you want to tell us some of the secrets or the tricks in trade they use to get around the getting the parts to the customers and the insurance company. Feel free. Call on me anytime. Okay.
yes, Chris, definitely
Oh,
will do.
okay. All right. So do bid yourself a good night, and it has been informative. So thank you very much.